Is Las Vegas once again disrespecting the Spurs?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great day. And you made the right choice. You made the smart choice, always coming back to Locked On Spurs. And we are part of the Locked On NBA Network. You find us anywhere, available everywhere. You get podcasts, YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app. The list goes on and on. Your team every single day. What are we talking about today? Well, we're going to be looking at Las Vegas projections on your silver and black team. So the win total projections are not out, but the title odds for next season are out. And wouldn't you know it, Spurs are near the bottom of the barrel when it comes to NBA. That's not surprising. It's what's surprising is where they rank the Spurs in that push for the title. We all know they're not going to get it, but you have to say. Also, what do we think? Do we think the Spurs are going to win 30, 40, 50 games next season? We're going to get into that and a lot more. Likely Wemby talk, everybody, so no shocker there. Who was helping me today? I'm going to say for the first time, it's going to feel really good. iHeart Radio's very own Nick Mantis. He is back, everybody. Nick, congratulations on the new gig.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me also preface that with, I'm here on yes, that is the job that I do have. It's my new job on the weekends, but at the same time, I'm here and my opinions are my own and not that of iHeartRadio.
Already towing the corporate line. Look at that.
I got to, man.
I
just started. I got to make sure I keep the job that I really enjoy doing nowadays. So
we'll make every effort to get you in trouble right now. But
there we go.
Just kidding.
Strap in, boys and girls. We're going to have some fun tonight.
All kidding aside, congratulations to Nick again.
Thank you.
He's with iHeart Radio. By the way, you can also find Locked On Spurs on the iHeart Radio app. And follow Nick on Twitter at Nick_Mantis, Mantas. Make sure you do that right now. You don't want to anger Nick. Don't make Nick sad on a Tuesday. Come on, everybody. But what's going to make everybody sad, Nick, and Spurs fans, or maybe not sad, maybe just really pissed off, is Las Vegas. Look, Spurs fans, they're used to the disrespect, the overlooking. Right. Even during the title run, Spurs get overlooked. Okay, look, let's make this very clear. Nick and I are in agreement. I think everybody listening is in agreement right now. The Spurs are not going to win the title next year. We get that. We get that. They're not going to make a deep playoff run. Maybe play in. We'll get into that later. But Nick, Bovada Betting, they released their title odds for the chase for the 2024 NBA title. Okay, so the Spurs are not top 10, not top 20. We get that. But they were ranked 7th with plus 10,000 odds to win the title. Again, not a shocker. But Nick, what is shocking, or maybe just a little disturbing, is if you take the correlation of that, that means Vegas right now will likely project the Spurs to have one of the worst records next season. Sure. 7th worst odds to chase that title. In my opinion, I think Vegas is discounting what possibly could be a very good Spurs team next season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think, right now they're looking at what's projected as of, their future bets, like you were mentioning, of what we don't know from what we're going to get from Wemby, of what we don't see from his, obviously we see the potential, but we don't know how that's going to mesh with the rest of the guys. We don't know how they're going to all, have an ability to use his talents as a power forward, and what's that going to be for the lineup, and him and Zach Collins, playing a little, 1-2 game, or, as far as, down low and stuff, what they can do together. And like we've seen, this entire NBA Finals and this entire playoff so far. I mean, the San Antonio has that same mentality that Denver has, where it's like, you're not going to watch us until the playoffs, and we get that, and it's fine. We'll take that and we'll put it on our shoulders and we'll run with it. And here we go again with Bovada having the same type of mindset of like, kind of putting the Spurs at plus 10,000, and then everyone else after that with Detroit, Utah, Charlotte, Houston, Orlando, and Washington underneath them. Washington Charlotte and Orlando and Houston all at plus 20,000. And as tied for the worst record for next year. It's interesting because I think this definitely brings out a lot of things that we could talk about for the future of the league. But as of right now, as of this recording, Las Vegas can't even get itself a baseball team. And it's trying to vote on that and trying to see whether or not that can actually happen. Yeah, the A's are probably going to go there, but Vegas has its problems as it is what I'm trying to get at. And I think for the most part, for most of us, as we see, we might be a little bit more hyped up knowing that Wemby's going to be coming to San Antonio. But from what we've seen over the last couple of years of following him and what he's been able to do over the last couple of months, last couple of weeks, knowing that he's coming to San Antonio, this is a different breed of human. Not even a different breed of basketball player, just a different human being.
It's a different breed of human. He's
an
alien.
He's an alien. Exactly. He's an alien. And like you were tweeting earlier today that alien life forms have been found, secret, identities of people like unclassified, information was found.
Aliens came out. Yeah.
And it was when Wemby was born. That's what that was. That's the
in other words, the U.S. discovered Wemby. The aliens were in France. That's all.
Right. Exactly. That's what it was. And then, now he's in France and he's doing his thing. And so my interpretation is that Vegas is always going to come out with what they think is as of right now, which is understandable. But I think at the same time, you got to put a little bit more respect on the Spurs and how they're moving forward, knowing that what they did this past year was try to lose as much as possible.
Bingo.
And if you move forward with a program with the guys who, for better or worse, were most likely well rested because they weren't going as hard as they should have this past season, and now you add a guy like Wemby with an incredibly young and talented team that you have, I could see them doing far better than a couple of the teams that are ahead of them in this projected poll right here that Bovada has. So yeah, I'm assuming that's exactly what you're thinking as well, and I'm just excited to prove everybody wrong in Vegas. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm betting the over in any win totals when they come out. They're likely to come out very, very soon, probably at the end of the NBA Finals. So be prepared for that. And I'm expecting Vegas to project the Spurs winning low. I think Vegas will project them around maybe the mid 30s. But here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
With this. Okay. Whew. You hit one thing on the head right now. You said like they were trying to lose last season. How many times do we see, so and so is out for the next 2 games. Oh, look at
somebody drops 35 and it's like, they have to be on rest. It's like, no, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. It's fine.
Yeah. Keldon Johnson got a hangnail. He's out for the next week. It was to that level.
Right.
But so you eliminate that. And now you bring in a full healthy team. A team that got a lot of seasoning last year,
right?
And you add in a Wemby. I dare I say, Nick, that last season's 22 win record may have been maybe mid 30s if the Spurs were fully healthy and wanting to win.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there, and I think that's a perfect number to put them at because of the couple of games where you're watching it happen and you're like, no, I mean, it wasn't like a blatant turnover, but that was a lackluster defensive, performance in multiple possessions where it's letting a guy go by you or you're not jumping with him for a rebound or whatever it may be. And
in other words, I was playing defense. That's what it was.
No, you and me, we were both out there, that's what it looked like. I mean, half the time you're looking around and different people in the city were talking about like them wanting to suit up. Because of the fact that most of the people, who were in the city who were watching the season, they were like, I could do better than that defensively. And that's a strong statement when it comes to that level of athlete, but at least the effort wise was not there. And so putting them, 30s or mid 30s just with this team by itself, I think is a great projection. So then if you put Wemby on top of that, give or take, the amount of games that they'll sit him because it's his first year playing in this league and the wear and tear and the multiple games a week and the flights and all that. He's a professional, so he knows how to handle himself. But at the same time, I would put them in the 40s. To be honest, that's where I'm putting them. My projection. I could definitely see them getting into the 40s. And because I look at some of the teams from this past year who were, really given a good amount of effort. And I'm looking at, the guys who were in the 30s and stuff, like the Mavs and the Mavericks and the Jazz and stuff. And I could see them definitely handling teams like that, definitely handling teams who are just above them in the amount of win totals with the Trailblazers. So
Mhm.
just without Wemby, if you're saying you're the Jazz or you're the Trailblazers without Wemby, then you put Wemby into that. I could see them getting into the low 40s is where I would project them to be. Which, if you're just looking at the Western Conference by itself from this last year, low 40s is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Low 40s is the Warriors.
Mhm.
So I think that would be exactly where we would project. That's what I'm projecting. Call me bold, call me crazy, you call me
No,
whatever you want, but I
no.
that's where I see it going this year, and I'm excited to see that happen. And do you think I need to put my feet up and think about life? Am I going crazy
No.
here? Oh, okay, all
No,
right.
no, not at all. And I'm going to explain to you why I think the Spurs are probably going to reach that 40-point win mark next season and maybe beyond right here on Locked On Spurs with iHeart Radio's Nick Mantis. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Nick_Mantis. We'll be back continuing this chatter about Vegas and the projections and then the win totals, what we think is going to be. Nick said about 40s. I'm going to give you mine in just a few minutes. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. You want to go to gametime.co right now. Look, you don't stress out about buying tickets to your favorite events. It shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They got killer deals on last-minute tickets, their best price guarantee. So stop stressing over the tickets. Start getting hyped for the fun that you'll have. You get images of seat views, the lowest price guarantee, even event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. You can't beat that. They got exclusive flash deals on all tickets, whether you're football, basketball, baseball, concert, whatever. The game time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. So if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Look, buying tickets, you can do that in a matter of seconds. Two taps and you are set. The tickets are sent directly to your phone. You don't have to dig through your email, none of that. Download the Game Time app right now or create an account right now. Use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Nick Mantis. Follow him on Twitter at Nick_Mantis. He is the new iHeart Radio Sports Weekend guy. And congratulations, Nick. Way to go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being the one to, first make the announcement this morning. We talked about it the last couple of podcasts that I've been on with you and having the almost like the Woj bomb, but it's the Jeff Garcia bomb, the Jeff bomb, which I think that was perfect. And so thank you for helping me out with that this morning. And then, I've been kind of busy for most of the day taking care of stuff, not just for work, but around the house and stuff. But I am going to get back to everyone, on my phone who's reached out to me, whether it be on social media or through DMs and stuff. So thank you. If you are somebody who I haven't gotten back to yet and you're listening to this podcast, thank you. I appreciate the well wishes and the support, and really excited to get going and started this past weekend with iHeart, and things are going good there. And I've been a TV guy for the last 4 years, and so transitioning over to radio has been fun and really enjoying it, and excited to get this ball rolling and keep moving. So it's perfect because it's right here in town in San Antonio too, so it works out great. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, we also thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. Shocker, tomorrow we're probably going to talk about Wemby. Yeah, so just get ready for it. Yeah, it's going to happen. So until he's officially a Spur and then some, we're going to be talking about him and more in future episodes. But hey, we're talking about Las Vegas, and are they disrespecting the Spurs in their standings next season? So, Nick, you said they're going to be around 40-ish. You're giving them that, and I agree with you.
Okay.
They're not going to be tanking. They're going to be trying to win. Defense is going to just spike up dramatically just with Wemby alone. So they won't be circling. They won't be circling the bottom of the barrel in that department. And you bring in Wemby, as you mentioned. Now, if you do the math, so this team won 22 last year. So you figure a fully healthy team gets you maybe an additional 10 to 12. We'll
Okay.
be safe. We'll say 10 more games. So maybe they finished last year at 32 wins.
Okay.
Now you add in Wemby. I think he gives you 10 to 12 wins just himself. What do you think?
I agree, and that's a
Yeah.
lot to ask for a guy, who is playing his first year in the league. But at the same time, I definitely see him having that type of potential, not just his ability to play the position that he's playing it right now as a power forward, but the fact that he's so versatile and the way that he handles himself.
It's ridiculous.
I really do see him as having the ability to really, really,
Mhm.
scare some people and to do some things that, assistant coaches who run most of the defenses, most of these programs or the franchises and stuff are not going to know how to deal with, because it's almost like with the size and the length of a guy like, even longer than a guy like Kevin Durant. You're dealing with somebody who is just has a launch angle of a ball that is almost unblockable, depending on where the position of the defender is. And so, offensively, I think he's going to be an absolute monster. Defensively, down low, you're not going to get anything by him. It's unless it's, like the Denver Nuggets have been able to do the last couple of
Right.
games of like moving the ball around very fluidly down low, which is very, very refreshing to see, because I feel like a lot of people, especially in the post position, will just grab the ball and just go straight up, without realizing they're double or triple teamed. So I think it's going to be extremely exciting to see him, and I think maybe that might be a bold prediction, like you were saying, of 10 wins just from the addition of one guy. But at the same time, we have to remember it's not just him out on the floor. Yeah, it's the addition
Right.
of him, but it's also him being able to mesh well with Sohan and with other guys that he's going to
Right.
have some fun with. And we've talked about it before when we were dreaming of getting Wemby, that there's a situation where you're thinking about the fact that Sohan kind of in a way had to be kind of like that beast in that position, for the most part. And now he can kind of play a little bit more fluidly. And it'll be exciting to see what he can do, knowing that since he was the latest top pick for the Spurs, it kind of was on a little bit of him when he first started. And now he doesn't have to worry because he's got a little bit of backup and knows that all the attention is going to be on Wemby. He can kind of just play freely and not have to worry about that. So
Right.
it's going to
And
be
I think,
exciting.
and I think there's X
Yep.
factors too into why they probably could project maybe high 40s,
Sure.
is because you're expecting Sohan to make his leap.
Mhm.
You're expecting Malachi to take his leap, or at least
Right.
a step. How's that? A step.
Yeah.
Vassell will come back fully healthy.
Yep.
Keldon will be Keldon. Hopefully
Right.
he'll fine tune his game and add a little bit more finesse to his game, but that's for a whole other show.
Sure.
You have also too Blake Wesley, you got Trey Jones. So you're expecting a lot of these kids to make growth next season. So you add that as well. I could see them winning. I would not be surprised if they're a 45 plus win season next year. I would not be surprised. Now, I think I'm pushing it a little bit too much with that,
Okay.
but I would not be surprised just because there's so many X factors that make you lean towards, yeah, they're likely to have a really good season versus, nah, not really. Now, the only reason why I would think they would have not a good season if, they load manage the what out of Wemby and or injuries.
Or they go the opposite, or they go hard in the paint, and then obviously we talked about that the depth chart was the MVP, or sorry, the injury list was the MVP of this past year.
Yeah.
And so we honestly understand why now when we talked about the idea of tanking and team tank and all that. But at the same time, if you go the opposite direction and you go as hard as you possibly can because you're really, excited to see what Wemby could do and what other guys can do, there's always the X factor of injuries. What does that lead to when it comes to next man up mentality? How deep is this team? What can it do when it comes to possibly moving guys or grabbing guys in the draft and having $30 million to play with? It's interesting to see what the variables are for this program moving forward, for this franchise moving forward. And so, that the X factor is they're plentiful, if you will. The talent is plentiful, the age group is plentiful, but the X factors are plentiful as well. So
absolutely.
And if you put them at 45, like you were saying, I'm looking over the numbers right now this past season, you put them at the 4 seed with the Phoenix Suns from this past year, 45
Yeah.
wins. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
And there's just
that's
some,
the right place to dance. That's
yeah,
exactly where you want to be dancing when
Yeah,
Fiesta
yeah.
comes around next year. That's exactly where you want to see him. So,
And there's other intangibles that are outside of the Spurs' control, but will
right.
impact San Antonio, such as what's going to happen with John Morant. You know,
Mm,
what's going to happen with the Lakers? Do they trade Anthony Davis? Do they get rid of him?
right.
What's going to happen with we know Denver's going to be Denver, so they'll still be a beast. But what about
Yeah.
Luka Doncic? I mean, what if Mavericks? Were that mediocre team again?
Right.
So there's so many things that
Mavs
can
right now,
play
so they
into.
have no intention of moving Kyrie, but I think that changes as time goes
Yeah,
on. But we'll see.
yeah. So we will definitely say, hey, when we get back, we're going to continue. We're going to wrap up this chat and then maybe look at one silver lining if Vegas is right. And I think for the most part, Spurs fans will be okay with it. And then, yes, more Wemby talk right here on Locked On Spurs with iHeart Radio's Nick Mantis. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Nick_Mantis. Make sure you do that right now. Hey, I want to talk to you about PrizePicks. You definitely want to go to PrizePicks right now. They got this. This is simple this way. You want to win $1 million? Well, here's how you can do it. They have $1 million daily super flex promotion. That's a mouthful during the NBA Finals. So basically, one entry placed after 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time will randomly be selected each day. Whoever placed that entry will be given a 6-pick flex with the following payouts. 6 correct picks equals 1 million. 5 correct picks equals 80,000. 4 correct picks equals 16,000. You can go to prizepicks.com/million, but you got to opt in at that link to be eligible for the $1 million entry. Now, once you opt in, all you got to do is play the game like normal, and you can be the lucky winner. But overall, you really want to go to PrizePicks right now. Basically, you pick 2 to 6 players. If they go on to score more or less than their PrizePick projections, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. You don't compete against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. From NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, the list goes on and on. They got it all over at PrizePicks. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. Super easy, safe, and fast withdrawals. Download the PrizePick app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up to play daily fantasy sports. First-time users get themselves 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. So you deposit $100, PrizePicks gives you $100. You give $50, PrizePicks will deposit $50. So yeah, they match it right there for you. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On and sign in for an instant deposit match up to $100. But we cannot stop this chat without talking about our favorite place to go to in San Antonio for that quick coffee caffeine fix. It's Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, locally owned, serving the San Antonio community. Over 300 5-star reviews. Well, you cannot go wrong. So if you need that pick me up, if you stayed out late, if you just need to get your day going, you want to go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now. They got lattes, they got dairy alternative, they have the Red Bull infusion line, which is basically, I recommend 2 things. You get the strawberry flavor added to it, or you get the newest addition to their Red Bull infused drinks, which is called the Alien. Yes, they're doing a drink in honor of Wembanyama's inevitable coming home, so to speak, to San Antonio. It's red apple, it's kiwi mixed in with Red Bull. It's really, really good. Also, you want to get the OG OJ for us 80s babies that remember carrying an orange Julius in our hand as we walk the old school malls in San Antonio, from South Park Mall to Ingram Park Mall to Windsor Park Mall. It's back. They have it. It's called the OG OJ. Go check it out right now. 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive out in San Antonio. You can't go wrong, and life is too short for bland coffee. All right, let's continue our chat right here with Nick Mantis. He is with iHeart Radio. He'll tell you more about that in just a few minutes. But Nick, let's go to wrap this up here. Okay. So if Vegas is right and the Spurs are near the bottom of the barrel in the NBA next season, silver lining, Spurs get another top 10 pick, which wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too shabby. I mean, there's another crop of great talent that's in college right now, and some guys who decided to stay for another year, or or decided to transfer to better programs to get more notoriety. And so, having them right now at plus 10,000, you're looking at the 7th worst record right now, and tied for plus 10,000 with the Indiana Pacers. So you have some options to deal with, or to go with. And And to look at the fact that, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that when it came to getting Jeremy, that was the ninth pick. I want to
The
say that
ninth pick.
was
Yes,
the
you're
ninth
correct.
pick.
Right.
And so
Yep.
right now you're sitting at the seventh pick. You have an option to get another guy at that level of talent. So
Mm-hmm.
there is that silver lining for the possibility of who that person could be.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you got everybody that you need, using that top 10 pick to your advantage when it comes to doing deals and stuff. But
Yep.
so you can always see that as a positive, but at the same time, I'm of the notion of somebody who used to live in Oakland, California, who's very frustrated with the Oakland A's and Vegas and that whole situation. That I think Vegas isn't taking everything into account when it comes to what
Right.
this team could look like this year, and so I think that's going to change. So
Yeah, I think the Spurs will be, record wise, really good next season. But again, like we mentioned, the silver lining would be another possible top 10 pick to go with the young core and build around Wemby and add to their war chest of picks they have. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, people. I mean, it's
yeah.
multiple first rounds, multiple second rounds. You throw in another first round, and hey, Dame, are you tired of being in Portland? Let's chat, Portland. We got all these picks here. What do you
Let's have a
want? You want to blow it
conversation.
up? Let's
Yeah.
have a conversation. We're good. Oh, you need some money? Free agent, top star. We got plenty of money here in San Antonio to give you a max deal if you're worthy of it. Just like Nick. Nick, you're always worthy of a max deal. You know that?
Oh, I appreciate that. No,
Yeah.
that's very sweet of you to say. Yeah, and I that's what we're all out here looking for. We're just out here to live and enjoy our lives and watch sports and get max deals. That's all we need. That's
Exactly.
really all we need.
Exactly. Hey, but real quick, before we wrap up here, Wemby, another solid game. He had like a double, I believe.
Mm.
For his standards, 18 points, something over about 9 or 10 rebounds, I believe. But again, he's going to the French finals. And did you hear this? When the French finals are over, then 2 days later is the draft. This kid could be gassed, and which makes me think I don't know if the Spurs will play him heavily during any summer league where they're at.
Right. Hey, I mean, if he has the opportunity to at least get in there for one or two games, like we were talking about the last time, we were talking about that as a possibility. I could see that happening for one or two games in there, but at the same time, you're absolutely right that if once everything's all said and done, he's going to be coming over here and putting on a hat and holding up a jersey. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do and how much time he really wants to rest, because we have to think about it at the same time. I mean, kid is still 19 years old, so he has the capability to rebound, I think, a little bit better than that. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Excuse the pun, as far as rebounding, but I think he has to bounce back, if you will.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So that's something I think the Spurs are going to be looking at once he's done with the French League and officially a Spur. Nick, why can the Spurs just tell Silver right now, here's our pick. You just put it on Instagram right now. We already made our pick and we're good. Because this is the most anticlimactic Spurs draft ever.
Well, yeah, as far as like the worry as to what they're going to do, that's at a very low. But at the same time, I think the climactic part happened, when the lottery happened, where it's like, okay, there's a possibility, or there's the 99.9%, portion where you can see that they're gonna go with Wemby. You can't. I don't think they can actually say it just yet. I don't know what the legal ramifications are, but when you have the ownership team saying, I wish that Wemby kid all the best of luck, he seems like a great player. We know that they're just messing, and we know that they're going through with that. So but all eyes are and all bets are on that.
And that throws me off, because unless there's a new rule, but when the Spurs won the lottery to select David Robinson, the Spurs GM then, whose name was Bob Bass, he was blatant about it. He was on TV saying, "Oh, we're selecting David once he's done with his, naval commitment." And now teams are like all top secret about this.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure some Magic fans out there will correct me. I'm pretty sure the Magic brass were also, we're going with Paolo. Like, do they have to keep it a secret? Like, I don't understand. But
I guess there might be.
Yeah.
It's just because I think there's like the slight little, and I need to look this up to see what if there's any rules against it in any way. But I
yeah,
think there might be the slight chance that you have the opportunity to use it to your advantage as far as not telling people what you're going to do,
yeah,
because the last thing you want to do is tell another team your intentions. But when it's as blatant and obvious as this,
right.
it's almost not even worth not saying it. But at the same time, I think there might be the one little caveat in
Yeah,
saying that you have options without go on actually blatantly saying what you're going to do. So
yeah,
so it just gives them that. But at the same
I
time,
guess.
I don't
Yeah,
know if there's any rule behind
yeah.
it. I'd have to go ahead and look that up.
Can
So.
hey Nick, can you imagine this draft night's here? And with the first pick, the Spurs select Scoot Henderson. What?
Oh, what?
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Riots in San Antonio everywhere.
Cars would
Everywhere.
not be driving down Commerce. Cars would be burning down Commerce.
It'd
There
be
would just
bad.
be a different type of vibe around it. It would be dangerous to walk outside at night.
By the way,
you know?
I just seriously dated myself right now when I remember Bob Bass and Dave Robinson 1987 draft there.
Hey,
On that note,
hey, it's your doing, not mine. I won't.
I know,
I won't walk down that road with you.
that was not Nick at all. That was just me. It's just thinking about GMs and when they win lotteries that they open about it. I
Right.
believe too the Pelicans were open about it too. Like, yeah, we're gonna go with Zion. But
Right.
unless it's just the Spurs being the Spurs as they always are.
Maybe it is. Maybe there isn't this like it's an unwritten rule, almost like it's like the baseball.
Yeah.
You got to hit the guy if your guy gets hit type of deal. If that's part of it, that's never really going to go away. But if different franchises have different mentalities and the way they want to handle their business, so
Exactly. Yeah.
you know,
Spurs fans, let us know if you know the rule and correct us, because I'm just really would like to know and read it for myself. Like, what it say
hit us
in the
up,
teams.
DM us. Yeah, let us know what's going on.
Yeah. Speaking of that, and letting us know what's going on, Nick, as we've been talking about the whole show, you got a new job with iHeart Radio. Tell everybody about that, how they can tune in to hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I just started actually this past weekend, and so I wanted to actually kind of get in there and test it out and see how I was doing, and then make the announcement. Obviously, with earlier on Monday, so yeah, as you mentioned before, I'm a weekend sports anchor for iHeart Sports Network, which I'm going to be centrally located, so. I'll have the weekend mornings is when I'm going to be on. And so what I can do is give updates for each market. So I have 18 different markets that I record for. The hours are a little rough, but you get in there and you gotta pay your dues and you got to do what you got to do. And it's my first real radio gig, if you will, because I've done little stuff here and there, but this is the actual, working fully with radio. So my hours on the weekends are 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. So that's a little rough, but at the same time, they have some good opportunities for me to give good updates out there. And so if you have, the iHeart stations in each city that you go to, so it's going to be the iHeart Sports station, which I believe here is 760 a.m.
Right.
So that one. So that's where I'll be doing updates on Saturdays and Sundays here in San Antonio. And then I have all the rest of my 17 other markets that I'll be reaching out to from Chicago to Dallas, Minneapolis, all over the central part of the country. So it's exciting. It really is. And I'm been really fired up to have different opportunities out here and to do new things. And this is a new venture for me of going into radio, having been a TV broadcaster for the last 4 years. So it's really awesome. So you guys can find me on there on the weekend mornings, on Saturday and Sunday mornings, to give you guys updates as you listen to 760 AM here in San Antonio, or whatever your sports, your iHeart Radio sports channel is in your city, wherever you may be listening to this. So and I'm fired up that people are fired up for me and ready to get after it this upcoming weekend. And one of the cutest things that's happened over the last week in preparing and getting this gig is that my girlfriend made sure, because I've been hanging up stuff in our new place, and as a trade for me hanging up some of her jewelry boxes and stuff in the closet, she went ahead and got me blackout curtains. So I can go to bed.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a good trade. It's
nice.
a good trade.
Yeah.
So she got the blackout curtains, so I can go ahead and go to sleep at my Friday and Saturday night bedtime at 5 p.m.
I'm gonna nerd out right now. That reminded me of the Thanos scene in with the MCM, and I think it was Endgame.
Okay.
Where he goes, and this reminded me of you and your girlfriend right now. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly
again. Follow Nick on Twitter at Nick_Mantis. Let him know what you think about his thoughts right here on Locked On Spurs regarding your silver and black, and congratulate him on his new gig over at iHeart Radio.
Yeah.
And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen. You guys are the everydayers. Tomorrow episode likely gonna be about Spurs and Wemby and more about Wemby. Hey, look, this is the day ended in Y. We're probably gonna talk about Wemby. So there you go.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
So for Nick Mantis, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.